So today we're going to start working on the 70 Spitfire. Let's get going. So I decided to actually start with some of the fitment issues with the body, and I actually started playing with it a little bit yesterday. But one of the problems we had was the bonnet was just too high. It wouldn't come down any close to the cowl anywhere. And then of course our adjustment here wasn't so good either. But one of the other problems is the whole bonnet was shifted that way slightly to where the edge of the chrome strip was even with the cowl here, and then the other edge, the inside edge on this one was even with the cowl there. So I shifted the whole thing over a little bit so that the center of the chrome strip on both sides is even with the cowl now. Now the other part of that adjustment, other than just maybe tweaking the hinges or bending something, is these bumpers right here. These had to be moved over a little bit to account for the amount I moved it to, because they fit into these little receivers down here. And it's going to make it shift a little bit as you lock it down. So you got to adjust those at the same time. Now, I also had to move these up, screw them in a lot further in order to make this whole thing come down and latch more. But that meant these also have to be adjusted too. Now when I got in here, I found out this was adjusted as far down as it would go. So I had to adjust it up, and there was enough adjustment there to pull that down quite a bit. And actually that side had started coming loose and was starting to, the edge of the latch was just starting to rub on the paint and cause some paint issues, so good thing we caught that now. So the other thing I did was I brought these strikers in just a little bit so that the doors don't sit all proud of the bodywork up here, which will help make it look a little bit better at the bottom because it won't be sticking out as much. And if you remember correctly from the other video, these gaps were a little off, wider on this side than it was on that side. So I took one shim out of this side and put it in that side. It's made it better, but it's not quite where I want it yet. And I'll show you why here in a second. As you can see, this door needs pulled in here a little bit because it's sitting a little proud here. But if I take that side out any more than what it already is, then we're going to start having that same problem here. It's already right on that edge. So I'm going to bring the top of that door in some. But as you bring the top of the door in, the bottom corners will start looking like they're sticking out further. So it's a fine line of balancing that. Now moving those bumpers up pulls the whole bonnet down a little bit, making it a lot more flush here, but also helps these lines here look a lot more even. So the next adjustment I'm going to make is this right here. You can see how this wedges and gets bigger as it goes out. That's a really simple adjustment. We'll show you that here right now. So to adjust these, it's really quite as simple as this one bolt here. There's a slot in this. Just loosen this up, and we pick that up and then tighten it back down where we want it to fix this gap. I'll get it up in the air and we'll fix it because we want the bonnet closed while we're doing it. So basically we just loosen this bolt up, and we can just push that up to where we get it nice and even. And snug it back down. And now I prefer to do this adjustment, any body adjustments, on the ground sitting on all four wheels, but it's really hard to get up in there on these, so we'll do it this way on this particular panel. Now I won't say that this is a perfect body line now, but that's as far as the adjustment available to us within that bolt will get us. And I think that's actually good enough. It's every bit as good as the factory ever had. But one thing adjusting these on the outside is doing, making the center part look a little nicer across the bottom of the grill as well. Now to some of you, these may seem like just minute adjustments, and really they are. But when this stuff's not right, people notice it, and it detracts from the overall perception of the car, where when it is right, it doesn't. So it takes a car that's done to a good quality and makes people still see it as a good quality car. Now I know this is going to be a fairly short video, but I think the adjustments in the body is something that needs to be talked about because it's something I see fairly often as not being right. And I didn't want to get into the mechanical parts on this particular video, so we're going to leave it just with this. The next video, we'll start getting into the mechanical work.